Hello, I'm Claire Davis. Welcome back to Mental Health Chats. And today we have got Cleveland Hughes here, who is going to continue the topic on anxiety and talk about managing anxiety through physical activity. Hi, Cleveland. How are you going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm very well. Would you like to tell all the listeners where you are from, where you are at the moment?
Okay, well, I'm originally from the United States, California, to be exact. But I have moved to Chicago, Illinois, where I am very happy and having a good time. But yeah, that's it. I'm from California, living in Chicago,
Cool,
trying
right.
to trying to live.
Yeah, so can you tell us, Cleveland, what do you actually do?
Oh, I'm a boxing coach, personal trainer. I've been boxing and coaching boxing for a little over 11 years now.
Yep, brilliant. And why did you get into boxing and personal training? Why are you so passionate about it? And I love your picture on the wall there as well.
Yeah, always got boxing mementos by me. But I started boxing because I was going through a bout with depression.
Wow.
And I figured that something wasn't right. Um, and I went to see a therapist, and the therapist noticed that I was really competitive and loved sports, and I needed an outlet. So he suggested I try boxing. And from that moment forward, I have been boxing and I've just been fully immersed in the sport and helping other people through the sport.
Brilliant, brilliant. And you said you had a bout of depression, and was that anxiety as well, or was it mainly depression that you've used?
Yeah, they came together.
Right.
Yeah, depression and anxiety, they came together. It's kind of it's an interesting thing because there's highs and lows.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And we have discussed on mental health chats before what the difference is between depression and anxiety. So for
Mhm.
you, what is the difference? What did you notice were the differences between depression and anxiety for you?
Well, I've recently discovered a nice way to explain it, a good way to explain it. Now, depression is almost like it's I think about it like almost it's kind of like a sleep disorder, it seems to me.
Right.
And in the morning you're awake, but you haven't woken up. So your body feels tired and your mind feels exhausted, and you're it's like your body's still asleep but you're awake, and you have to go to work and do all the things that you need to do, but you
Yeah.
haven't really woken up, and it takes hours upon hours to wake up. And then anxiety is very similar, but it's like when it's time to go to sleep, you can't get your mind to stop racing so you can relax and rest.
Yeah, that
So
is
that's what it's like for me.
that is such a good way to look at it, and I've never heard that before. So thank you for that, because from what I've read up on is that depression is all about what's happened in the past,
Hmm.
and we're sort of thinking about what's happened in the past, and anxiety is worrying about what may happen in the future. And that makes sense when you
Yes.
relate it to sleep. So that's really interesting. Thank you for that,
Yes, no
Cleveland.
problem.
And and you said that you sort of got into boxing to help you with
Mhm.
your depression and anxiety. So how have you found that boxing has really helped you with your anxiety? Let's talk about anxiety here.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the thing, like you gave a really good explanation on how anxiety works. It's thoughts of the future. And then the problem I think that a lot of us have, and I think a lot of people do experience anxiety, is just because we're just thinking about something that hasn't happened. We're worrying about something that's coming about. But the thing that physical activity and boxing has done for me is it gave me something to focus on, other than what's happening next. Boxing is a very intense sport, as in it requires a lot of focus, and it requires you to relax and be in the moment to perform what it is that you need to perform to be a boxer, you know. And that's basically the thing is if you're doing all the things that your boxing coaches are asking you to do, it's pretty close to impossible to think about anything else.
Yeah, that's amazing. And when you're really focusing on your boxing, how is that making you feel so that you're sort of not worried about what may happen in the future? How's that making you feeling?
You know, it's a feeling of concentration. It's a feeling of focus. It's a feeling that I need to keep my eyes on what's right in front of me and not worrying about anything else that's happening, to remain focused and remain undistracted. Like, because if you get distracted in boxing, you know, the potential for you to make a mistake that could cost you, you know, a piece of yourself, so to speak. You know, because, you know, someone trying to punch you in the head,
Yeah.
you know, is not necessarily good for your health. And you need to be at a utmost level of focus in order to stay out of your head.
Yeah, that's an absolutely amazing concept. And so you've been doing boxing for 11 years. Have you found, and you run a business where you are coaching boxing, which is fantastic. Do you want to tell everybody about your business?
Yeah, sure. I started a boxing program, a boxing system called the 𝗖𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗀 system. And it's basically it's a boxing program that focuses on all the therapeutic benefits of boxing. Those things that we're talking about: staying in the moment, staying focused, controlling your breathing, and, you know, all the other things that you really need to do to stay in the moment and empower yourself to feel better. But not only does it help you stay in the moment, it also gives you tools to help you bring yourself back down in those moments of feeling anxious.
That's amazing. And so it's like a therapy, is it, for other people who may have anxiety? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. And, you know, that was a discovery that I had made when I started asking my clients, well, why do you come to the boxing gym? And they were telling me, this is the only thing that helps me clear my mind. You know, traditional exercise is not intense enough. It's not focused enough. It's not targeted enough for me to get out of my head. So this is why I'm doing it. And that's why I created the system, because I wanted to make sure I was giving everybody the things that they actually needed.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so is it different for your different clients? Do you find you adapt what you do for different clients, or is it the same system?
It's the same system. However, there's a different focus for each client, just because everyone has a different temperament, everyone has a different goal, and everyone has different struggles. And, you know, some people, they're anxious, some people are depressed, some people are stressed. And I just tailor the program to the principle that's most relevant to that person.
That's absolutely brilliant. So it's called 𝗖𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. So I'm going to put the website on the comments so people can find you in Chicago. You never know, I might turn up one day. But what I'm really intrigued about, Cleveland, could you give us a couple of examples? You don't have to mention names, but of clients that you've helped and how you've adapted the structure of what you do for specific clients.
Yeah, no problem. And I'll use an anxiety-based story to keep it relevant to what we're talking about today. So one of the principles that I teach is called the art of relaxed intensity. And it's a kind of Zen-like state in which you are alert and able to have the amount of relaxation and fluidity that you need to do the boxing movements well. And clients that have anxiety, they have a really hard time getting into getting into that Zen-like state. And what I tell my clients is that you have to get into a space where you're doing nothing until you're doing something. So like anxious clients, like, you know, if they have a hard time holding their hands up like so and just breathing, they fidget and they move around and things like that. And so we spend a lot of time just, hey, feel the ground underneath your feet, feel, check in with each joint in your body, breathe, take a deep breath and slow down. And sometimes we spend, 15 minutes just calming that person's anxiety so we can move on to the next move. But that's basically how I assess is can you stand there and just take a deep breath and do nothing until it's time to do something.
That's fantastic. That's absolutely brilliant. And I'm interested. Is it mainly males that you have as your clients, or is there females that come along as well?
Most of my clients are females, and
females.
It's really interesting to people too, because like really, mostly ladies are coming to you. Yes, and I found that women are far more vulnerable and open to talking about, the things that are going on with them, and which makes it very easy for me to connect with them. For some strange, I think we know why, but men have a harder time showing that side and saying that they need help. So, I do work with men, and I think the men I work with are some of the strongest guys out there, because they're willing to be vulnerable and talk to another man about what they're going through. But for the most part, I mostly work with women.
Wow. And what age groups do you work with?
I typically work with like my average age of a client would probably be somewhere around 38 years of age. I work with people from ages like 25 up to like age 60. But the person you will see the most is someone around the age of 30.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Now, the reason why I asked about the male-female thing is because I've taken my boys to boxing for years, and they were in that boxing place, the academy. It was all boys. There was about one or two girls. So I'm just amazed. That's amazing. I want to come over and have some boxing lessons with you. That sounds fantastic.
Yes. It's really interesting because, at the gym, somebody came to me and said, whenever I come to your class, it's full of young ladies. And it's like, it just seems to be the kind of energy that I attract. But there are a lot of men that do the sport. I think that more men do the sport, but from the angle that I'm taking, I think that because it's kind of a softer approach, I think that it really resonates well with women.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I love the fact that you're talking about breathing, because breathing is so important for anxiety. And our next guest is a lady whose name is 𝗤𝗵𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, and she is going to be talking about how breathing can calm anxiety. So I'm really looking forward to that add-on from yours. So Cleveland, is there anything else that you would like to say to everybody out there about what you do?
No, that's it. I think that they should keep their ears open for this next guest, because that's going to be extremely powerful for anybody struggling with anxiety.
Brilliant. So thank you very much for joining us. You've been such a delight to talk to, and I look forward to our next talk. And best of luck. We all know where to find you when we're all in Chicago. We're going to be coming along and meeting you. So thank you very much, Cleveland.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.